this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary.
I would fairly tell you it is a surprise that he is still on the board at the start of day 3. Philosophically, some teams feel like if you are drafting at the quarterback position specifically, if you think you've got a starter, you take him in round 1. If you're drafting somebody to be your backup, you don't want to do that until day 3. I spoke last night with one general manager who is considering taking ShedeuR Sanders today. He pointed back all the way to March 2024 and something that ShedeuR's father, Deion Sanders, said on a podcast talking about both ShedeuR and Travis Hunter, saying that if they are drafted by a team that they don't want to go to, he's going to step in and pull an Eli, meaning force those players to not actually go to that team and try to get them traded. Throughout the pre-draft process, ShedeuR Sanders very much proceeded as if he was dictating to clubs where he was going to go rather than how the draft works, which is the other way around. And there were a bunch of opportunities missed at the various checkpoints through that pre-draft process. Go all the way back to All-Star season. Instead of going to the Senior Bowl, he went to the East-West Shrine Bowl in his backyard in Dallas. Despite an NFL memo saying if you go to these All-Star games, you have to practice, ShedeuR chose not to.
This prank call to draft hopeful ShedeuR Sanders, son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, picking up the phone Friday, thinking it was a coach inviting him to join the team.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Way to go! Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man.
No, for sure.
We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's be legendary.
But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
The caller abruptly hanging up.
What does that mean? You heard that?
He said you're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Nobody got that number but coaches, strictly for that reason.
But it wasn't a coach or anyone from an NFL team.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
Instead, it was these young men seen in this video circulating on social media, impersonating New Orleans Saints general manager Mickey Loomis.
We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's be legendary.
But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh my God! He's funny!
The Atlanta Falcons releasing a statement saying Jax Ulbrich, the 21-year-old son of defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, found the number and was responsible for the call. That video showing Ulbrich and a friend making the call. Ulbrich apologizing to ShedeuR on Instagram, writing, "I'm so sorry I took away from your moment. It was selfish and childish." And Sanders is trying to put the whole thing behind him.
This is what it is. I think of course the dude was childish. Of course I feel like it was a childish act, but everybody do childish things here and there.
The Cleveland Browns select ShedeuR Sanders.
The 5th-round pick quarterback considered the biggest draft slide in history. But Sanders still appeared thrilled when the call came.
Thank you for the fans, thank you for everybody, thank you for the Browns organization for giving me a chance. That's all I need.
Originally projected to go as high as number 2.
For this made smoother than your smoothest criminal. Shamo, about that money, what we get into. Shamo, about that money, get residuals. Shamo.
What it do, people? You're now tuned in.
Popovich. Popovich TV. Oh yeah.
We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here. One more again. So if it's your first time, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. To everybody else, you already know. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. And we is in the end game, people. And we in the end game because on this Monday morning, after the dust has settled, after the 2025 NFL draft has concluded, we going to play Monday morning quarterback. And we talking about ShedeuR Sanders, and we talking about him getting, picked in the 5th round and dropping. And a lot of people had things to say, whether right, wrong, indifferent, whether it's racism. And I'm telling you, man, it's just racism or, they try to humble a young man, and young man runnable on some Muhammad Ali shit, right? But Hov said, I wanted to walk just like you, wanted to talk just like you. Mama said I looked too much often, I thought just like you. Wanted to drink Miller Lips and smoke Newports just like you, but you left me. Now I'm going to court just like you. I would say my daddy loves me and he never go away. Bullshit. Do you even remember December's my birthday, right? And I quote that to say, Daddy, where have you been? What was he cheating on you? Fire's songs off the Dynasty album, right? In ShedeuR Sanders' case, that could be farther away from the truth. It's like night and day, because as we know, Prime, who gets, his flowers now, I see a lot of people give him his flowers for being, a great dad, a good dad, a role model, somebody who's molding, young boys to being men, right? He's done an outstanding job, right? At least from the outside. I don't know them personally, but it looked like he did a phenomenal job. Cool. So ShedeuR Sanders doesn't have that daddy, where have you been mindset. Got a strong father figure, got a strong mentor, somebody who played in the NFL and, on a lot of people's Mount Rushmore of being that guy. See, even the video with his son, like, yo, Dad, if you wasn't that nigga, Dion, like, nah, don't, call me. And then he switched it, like, if you wasn't that dude, this wouldn't be happening to ShedeuR, right? And I'll just say, like, I'm not naive. I don't think that the NFL was just a good old boy, you know what I mean? It's just a good old lead. And you see Ocho Cinco, that is, right? He played in the NFL for a few years. He like, yo, nobody's bigger than the program. You hear Marcellus Wiley, he like, let's not act like this hasn't happened before. I don't know people's views. I don't know his political views. I don't know if he's a Democrat, Republican. I'm only pointing that out because people do have certain viewpoints, if they're not working from a think outside the box or a critical thinking standpoint, right? They may have certain views. He's from Cali, etc. But I pointed him out and Ocho for two reasons. They both played at a high level and definitely know more than me. And Marcellus Wiley was like, we've seen this before. We've seen this happen to four, white boys. This ain't the first time. And we all know that if you watch the draft, and y'all know I think sports is scripted and rigged. Let's not make no mistake about it. When Vegas get on that bat line, the shit is not real. So with that being said, you hear, ShedeuR come out like, could have probably interviewed a little better. He didn't, he didn't perform at the combine. A lot of people don't. Another quick side note before I lose my train of thought, people like, yeah, his pops, they were saying they didn't want to play in certain places, and that might be true too. I could see Dion, like, I don't want my son in a certain situation to make him look bad. I put time in the game, kept my mind off fame, and I'm one of them guys, so don't do my son like that. And I also could see him like, certain places we don't want to go. So I say that to say, people brought up Eli, New York Giants. I know I'm a New York fan, right? New York in the house, it's Brooklyn, like, Uptown, rest in peace, ODB, and Wu-Tang love the kids. But I'm a Giant fan. But anyway, with that being said, it's like, Eli, it's a difference between saying, listen, I don't want to play there, and then walking in with an entitlement and confidence quotation, because you got a lot of rich people online now. Like, I get, people like me, we still in the mud, we still in the everyday neighborhood, but it's a lot of people like Stat, from All the Smoke, the Mysons, and just various different people like You're Rich, you know what I mean? And they're like, they hate when they see a young brother that's confident and woo, and it's racism and it's racial. Like Travis Hunter didn't go number 2. Heisman winner, right? Like Cam Ward didn't go number 1. Like the draft is not full with black brothers, so they don't got no confidence. Oh, but all right, because ShedeuR is rich and he don't need the NFL, but I'm guarantee you to play in the NFL, just like people pay for the Super Bowl, guarantee he would have gave all his riches up to play in the NFL, unless he's lying about, y'all, just another day, another opportunity for my dream to come true. And this is the last thing, right? Where we pick and choose at. And again, I'm not naive. I'm not saying, the NFL ain't like, let's teach them a little bit or let's show them, as far as the attitude or the entitlement. It's the same way the red pill be like, yo, you a dime, you this, you that, talking to the ladies. Like, where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? Like, this is one of the arguments. It's like, yeah, you too good for Cheesecake Factory. You too good for this. Like, everybody think they needs a high value man, nigga with a 6-pack, nigga with a Big Johnson, Bozak, etc. Wash your feet, know how to cook, got a Bentley, gonna play Superman, eat bullets with his teeth and all that. And it's like, all right, some women may qualify for that type of guy, but not everybody. And what have you done? Because you didn't win the Heisman. You finished high, but you not the top 3, not top 5. Finished top 8, top 9. Yeah, he didn't have a running game and, his offensive line. Okay, cool, but you still got to prove it in the NFL. And when you walk in there, with your pants sagging and the bling, blig, blow chain and all that, it's entitlement. And who want to deal with that? And then, and to no fault of his own, his father is obviously that guy, and he done probably forgot more football than a lot of us know, even the people that's, in the NFL. So now you got him looking over your shoulder. You want an entitled woman and her mom's looking over your shoulder, and you can have the pick of the litter and people who you want. I just draw that analogy because maybe some people would be like, oh, all right, I get it. And then even with him coming out saying, yeah, I probably could have interviewed a little better. I probably could have, portrayed myself a certain way. You can have confidence, but obviously it's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. Like, yeah, if you looking to change your whole organization and, draft me, like, yo, bro, niggas hit hard in the NFL. And as K.O. Smitty would say, you're a small man. I'm not wishing it on you, but you probably get hurt. You need to stay in the pocket. He's accurate, I get it. But do something first. Now you got a chance to come in, keep your head down, 5th round pick. So they try to take the money out your pocket. Let's see if you can work. Let's see if you can do, let's see if you can do something, as opposed to, you ain't take a rep yet. You ain't throw a touchdown yet. You ain't do nothing yet. And you think you're going to be the franchise savior. Let's see, because you didn't win the Heisman and you didn't finish. You didn't get taken number 1. Now, is he better than a couple of other quarterbacks that they, took before him? Yeah, it could be, but it's like if y'all basically the same and I'm not going to be getting attitude and famous father entitlement, then we're going to take a blue collar, somebody coming in that's coming to work, keep their head down and not cause no whole bunch of ruckus. We don't want the backup quarterback or, our quarterback room with all the lights, cameras, and action. You know what I mean? We don't want all that. So we take you last to humble. Yeah, I can see that. But even if he came out, he's taking accountability. So, racism, maybe trying to humble him. What is it? Public butt breaking or breaking him, whatever it is. I didn't really see it like that. And a couple of other NFL players that played in the game, they didn't see it like that. The last piece to this puzzle is twofolds. One is the prank call, which we definitely would be remiss if we don't, bring that up. Obviously, Atlanta Falcon defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, or whatever the hell his name, his son, apparently, just out of all the players, get ShedeuR Sanders, number. I guess they like all the draftees or potential people that we might draft. We have their contact information. But your son, daddy, where have you been? Out of all the prospects, you get his number, you fake call him up, acting like the New Orleans Saints is gonna, draft him. And, it's embarrassing. What was supposed to be, obviously a big moment. And obviously I won't even take it a setback. One, he's rich. Two, he made the NFL. And again, with the rich victims or wanting to be victims. But that part with the prank call, obviously he apologized and I realized it was unacceptable, etc. I think the coach should be fired. Probably a suit or something should be followed swiftly behind. And then the last thing is this, right? For all of the rich victims, or if you want to take the side of they, trying to humble them, like I said, and I'm not naive. I won't say that, the good old rich boys, whole bunch of rich old white millionaires, etc. You know what I'm saying? Want to stick it to the young black brother that's overconfident, even though the young said black brother came out and said he probably could have, learned how to talk. And not even say that you got to be, less than yourself or a shadow over yourself, but you do want to play in the NFL. When you go on a job interview, although you may be the most talented person in the world, you don't just go in there with your chest flapping in the wings and your chest poked out. Do you say, yes, I'm confident? What's some of your weaknesses? When they ask you what's some of your strengths? Yeah, you go in there, but you don't go in there like, yeah, you better fucking hire me. You don't do that. But lastly, the other last part to this puzzle is for all of those peoples, the Jay-Z's, the Deion Sanders, and the list goes on, and like an Erykah Badu song. Where's your NFL? Because we make up, 95%, 90%, 85%, even if you want to say 75% strong. It's a lot of millionaires. It's a lot of billionaires, even if it's, in equity or collateral or, different things like that, or assets, or if you liquefy it, however, it breaks down and you a billionaire or you half a billionaire. And football is the last thing that we need. Don't even get me started. Hospitals, fire departments, our own police, like the small hats, etc. That's just a whole nother story. We're talking about sports. I was about to say we're talking about practice or some Allen Iverson shit, but we're talking about sports. So yeah, could they have been prank call? Is all this shit a coincidence? No. He came out and said he could have, interviewed better. He could have came with a better attitude, and that's all we can control. Because, it's a lot of women out there that stink in their tens. A lot of them is just fives and average at best. But the one with the best attitude and the one that come in with the less issues, if you have options, who are you going to take? I'm not coming to you. You're coming to me. Same thing with the Super Bowl. Well, Ho said, I don't need the Super Bowl. Super Bowl need me. And then years later, now you running the halftime show for the Super Bowl. You don't get paid to do the Super Bowl. And you can like it, love it, dread it, run from it. But destiny arrives all the same. Get your own lead, my guys. I'm not complaining. I'm just giving that side of it. Like, we be having a lot of umph and a lot of energy for a lot of shit. At the end of the day, a lot of the people I seen talking, they hella rich. Oh, he wasn't poor like the other people I seen. like Cam Ward. I mean, he might be poor. His family doing all right. He went to college, right? You know what I'm saying? They on the highest trajectory than a lot of people. And sports can put you in that, in that lane. But let's act like he's was the rich person ever. You know what I mean? That wanted to play or come from a wealthy family. You still gotta, put your best foot forward. And it is what it is. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's your guy, Popovich. Y'all was just tuned in. Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here. One more again. Yeah, kid.